Yeah.
Awesome. We're live. Well, it's good to see you guys again after our acai adventure. For those of you who don't know, acai does come from Brazil. We learned that. Very different though, right?
Yeah, I think like what we're used to in Australia and America, like it's the natural, and then obviously you guys showing us the ropes and teaching us a bit of Portuguese. I imagine like when you got foreigners that come to Brazil like us that are trying to like learn the language, or at least it's pretty funny for you guys, right? Or like, do you encourage that?
Yeah, actually now you have to put the bonbon. Good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. For us, just because Portuguese is too much different from other languages, we find nice to teach when someone comes to Brazil, like some words, some bad words. Yeah, it's funny.
Maybe a few bad words,
Yeah,
but
because we have many words. Just one word that we can use for everything.
Oh yeah,
You know that
yeah, we
now.
know those words. Yeah.
Yeah.
you have to visit to find out though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. We're excited to do Voices of Valor, Brazilian edition. We're sitting here with Matheus and João. If I said that correctly, why don't you guys give a brief introduction, like, 20-second introduction for each of you? Start.
Well, hello. My name is João. I'm a physician. I work with sports medicine and exercise. And we are now launching the MEO, right? And I'm one of the physicians who work in the clinic. And we're very happy to have you guys here in Brazil so we can learn about the Valor and use the Valor here, the first clinic in our city in our country to use the Valor.
Absolutely, yeah.
Hey guys, nice to meet you. Very excited to be here with you and João too. It shows for us the power of the connections because it's hard on LinkedIn, and now we are here in Brazil visiting. My name is Matheus. I'm from Rio, and now I'm here with MEO too, working like a head of a biomechanics laboratory. And my education is a physical education, like a strength coach. And have been working with return to sport, rehabilitation, and high performance.
Awesome, yeah. It's for listeners, like it's a quite an awesome story about how Tace and I sort of connected. But so what led you? Obviously, like where it's LinkedIn, and he sort of reached out and said hello, and I'm like, wow, Brazilian guy, I love soccer. I'm gonna just happy to connect. And then we sort of connected. We tried to do stuff together. It didn't work out initially, but for yourself, Matheus, like when you reach out to people like that, you mentioned, networking and whatnot. Like, what are some of the things that, interest you when you go out to connect with people? Is it something that is just a pure connection? Do you want to learn something from, like, what inspires you to go out and sort of connect with people?
Actually, in my profession, one of the most things that I think important is this connection, because I can learn with you, you can learn with me, and we can do many things together. And now it's happened. So the power of the connection is this. Actually, we have some interest in together, but it's not just for it. And now you have some culture in Brazil, like açaí and anything else. But the most important thing is this connection for work, and can be a friendship, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. What did you picture this happening when you first connected with Michael?
I don't know.
It developed.
You thought, like, look at this crazy Aussie. What's going on here?
Actually, it was faster than I thought.
There we go.
We are online, and now we are face to face.
Absolutely. And yeah, you guys have been awesome hosts, so really appreciate it. We love your version of a coffee break. It's Coca-Cola and pau. Just
Pão de queijo and brigadeiro.
Oh,
Yeah.
Brigadeiro.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So I think your Coca-Cola has a little more than just caffeine in it.
Yeah, okay.
Less sugar, but
Actually, it's usual, like US, but brigadeiro, no.
Well, we're up to like 5 a.m. We couldn't get to sleep with the Coca-Cola, so there's something in the water there.
Yeah, probably. Or just the açaí.
Possibly, yeah.
but you guys have a big interest in biomechanics,
Yeah.
right? Like we've visited many American facilities, and you guys are honestly ahead of a lot of them even.
Yeah, actually, when I was 5 years,
Mhm.
I have broke my I had broke my leg and my femur, and it was, I think, my nowadays it's my mission to help the people with their injuries.
Mhm.
So all my education was about study injuries
Yeah.
for patients, for students, for athletes. How can I, with my professional, how can I help these people, this public, to return to activities, to return to
Mhm.
performance? It was in my opinion, is awesome. Really, I'm very excited to
Yeah.
study this nowadays.
So like your career has been predicated off a personal experience.
Yeah,
So
can be.
prior to that, like what was it that you were wanting to do before that sort of, moment in your life where, fractured your leg and all of a sudden your life
Yeah,
changes?
yeah. It's because it's happening with me, and if you think that others, I wouldn't like it if it happened this with you.
Yeah, I got you.
So with the technology was the medicine,
Mhm.
we can help better the people with this
Yeah.
this sports science in general. I mean,
Yeah, I gotcha. Cause like when we were like going around the other day and like how old are you guys? And I'm like the grandfather of the group at the moment. 'Cause you guys are all young, but like it's pretty impressive that both of you, physician and physical therapist, like at your age. So like, in terms of like to get to where you are, like explain like, sacrifices and the motivation behind like I know your motivation, but like just where you want to take this.
Okay. My mother, she's a physician, so I grew up in this kind of environment,
Mm.
right? And I just wanted to be a physician since I was, I don't know, 6 years old. And well, here in Brazil, it's a little bit hard to become a physician because of the university, the SATs. There are too many people wanting to pass to medicine, and we have to study like a little bit hard in a high school and stuff, and in the university too.
Mhm.
And well, I think where I want to get,
Yeah.
I just want to try to make sport better in Brazil and people better. I think the exercise, it's a wonderful therapy. Like if we took exercise and sports more seriously, we could um, we could help people with disease and preventing disease, and with athletes to improve their performance
Mhm.
with health. So we don't have this culture here yet, but I think all of us, we want to get there, right?
Why do you
What
think people
is
don't take it? Sorry. Why do you think people don't take exercise and sport seriously?
Because it's cheap.
Okay.
Because it's cheap. You
Mm.
you don't charge too much,
So you're fighting a
right?
cultural issue.
Yeah, probably. We have that culture of taking pills and taking medicine and looking for the disease after it happens, right?
Mm.
We don't prevent the disease as we should do. So I think that's why we don't take it too seriously.
well, that might be true for the US as well.
Mm.
It's just easier to, fix something versus like actually prevent it.
Yeah, actually, it's harder, right? But we 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 pretend it's
Money
easier.
wise.
Yeah, it's much more expensive to treat a disease than to prevent one,
Right.
right? But we have this culture.
People are lazy.
Yeah, for sure.
People make money off the fixing.
Yeah, for sure.
we were talking about this yesterday, right?
Yeah.
About the foods, the poor foods. I mean, in this morning, I was talking about this with Rafael, the importance of exercise, how medicine and physical education can work together. Because, for example, I grew up as a kid
Mm.
with exercise in my life. I practice judo, soccer, jiu-jitsu, many sports that I have the experience. And nowadays, for example, my daddy has some disease like diabetes, for example, but he was an athlete. but nowadays he didn't practice exercise. So my mission is influence him and my mom to practice exercise because they have some little bit old. They are older, so I think our mission in Brazil is influence the people to practice exercise. Between we have two different words, athletes words and then normal words,
Yeah.
and the people that come in the gym, for example, just to be health. So I think our mission is about this: is help athletes and the normal people.
And I think here in Brazil, people think a lot about exercise as aesthetic stuff,
Yeah,
right? And it's not just about aesthetic. Actually, it's a little about aesthetic and much more about health.
Yeah.
What do you
So
mean static?
Aesthetic.
Aesthetic.
aesthetic, yeah.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, beach, the beach waves
Yeah,
and
for
sure.
looking all good.
yeah, or worrying about to look the mirror, look the abs.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, I gotcha. So, like, what do you see some of the trends like in America? Um, the injuries are getting younger and younger. Are you finding that's the same thing happening here with the youth in Brazil?
With injuries?
Just
Or-
yeah, injuries in general, or how people are looking after themselves. Because like, I'm the same as you. Like when we were younger, we would like play cricket or rugby on the road out front of the house. Now kids these days are have iPads at the age of like 2 or 3. So like, is it similar trends over here in Brazil?
Yeah, yeah. We have more obese child,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't develop muscle as well because they don't play, then they don't do strength stuff like hanging oneself and this kind of things. So yeah, this culture of being seated in front of a PC
Mm-hmm.
or an iPad, this doesn't help.
Yeah. So like kids have adopted technology for like, gaming and television. Do you think people in general can adopt technology in the fitness world over here?
Yeah, sure.
Like, give us some examples.
I think the gamification is a very important thing, because people are using more and more the technology as something to occupy their minds, right? And like playing games and this kind of things. And I think gamification is a nice technology thing to help people to challenge themselves and compete and maybe with gamification
Mm.
we can get these children to be more active. So there are some initiatives like for you achieve some kind of activity in a day and you earn something like with a watch, right? You can see your progress and you can see what you achieve and you can compete with colleagues. I think that helps a lot in technology.
Absolutely. Some of the things or most of everything we're talking about applies to both Brazil and the United States. What is it that you think Brazil does better than the United States currently, or at least is trending in a better direction?
about the exercise.
Exercise, fitness, your profession.
Okay, I think food, we still eat healthier than you guys mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we still are a little more active.
Mhm.
Like we have less sedentary people. Maybe because we are not as wealthy, so many people don't have this access to technology,
Mhm.
like with an iPad or a computer, and use it all day. We walk more, I think. We get to places more by walking or by bicycle than you guys. But I think the globalization doesn't help.
It's making
we
it worse.
Yeah, for sure.
It's spreading.
All this stuff comes to Brazil as well,
Mm.
right? And I think year by year, technology is more accessible and it's cheaper. So people start using technology in a manner that they spend the whole day with technology and walk less, get less active. So I think,
Technology is kind of the root cause.
yeah, yeah. But even in the things we're still a little better, we're getting worse.
Okay.
Well, it's funny, like you say that, because like technology is the root cause of a lot of the problems, but we're using technology as the root cause to fix the problems.
Yeah,
You
sure.
know what I mean? So it's like that sort of that balance. But like, what is it? Do you think that Brazil doesn't do very well that we can learn from other countries? Because like I've got a couple of friends, and we spoke about the other day. There's like a ton of Brazilians in the NBA. So it's like, what do you think that Brazil can learn from other countries as well?
I think nowadays we have two different words. For example, we live in a pandemic, coronavirus,
Yeah.
and we have a word before this and after this. Before this, okay, Brazilians are health, but after that, we are taking care of more of our health in general. But we have some difference like food, education, for example.
Yeah.
In Brazil, we need to study during 4 years to be a physical education, like a personal trainer, for example. And I think in the US, you don't need. But actually, we need to study anatomy, physiology, biomechanics, and anything else. We have, I think, the influence of the family to be, the athletes. And there is one thing that come attention is the kids in US practice more exercise in the school comparing with Brazilians kids. Uh, in general, Brazilians has some games. No, it's culture in Brazil,
Yeah.
playing so much, but in US you are playing some sports. You know, I mean, the kids that practice exercise in US is health compared with the Brazilians.
Yeah, I got you.
We don't have that culture, that program to make people professional athletes. So a Brazilian professional athlete is like a Superman or a Superwoman,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Because
Special.
with very little resources, they can get there. And you can see it by the Olympic standings, right? The number of medals we get, gold
Yeah.
medals. And I think that's a big problem here.
How
We
did
don't,
Brazil go in the last Olympics?
I don't know. I think we got like six golden
Is
medals.
that trending in the positive or like improvement or regression or what's that?
It's stability. It's
Yeah.
it's much like the last
So like, what's
Olympics.
Brazil like? As I always call organizations out in sport that are just, you know, sitting on the fence of where they want to be, like the just happy to be here team. Like they don't have the aspirations. Like everyone wants to win, right? But if they make like a playoff game and they get knocked out in the first round, they're like, you know what, it's a great season. Whereas other teams like, no, no, we're here to win it all the time. Like Australia had one of their most successful Olympics. And that's sort of like the standard in Australia because we're sort of like the underdogs. But in Brazil, like is like what are you that type of country where it's like, you know, we're happy to get only six when we with a population of like 200 million, or are you like the aspiration of we want to be where the US is?
Yeah, I think that's two different visions,
Yeah.
right? Two different point of views. I think for us, a part of the population, they think, oh, we could get better, and but the person who's talking is seated in the couch watching.
Yeah.
They don't do anything, and oh, okay, you just lost. You're
Yeah.
a shame for us.
You
And
have
we
been
have
training this for a whole life. Oh
yeah,
my God.
yeah. And we have the other point of view that we are happy for the ones who get there because we know how much they struggle to be there,
Yeah.
right? But I think it's more of a culture, really. We don't have programs in schools. We don't have resources. We don't put money. We don't invest in sports for children, for teenagers, for them to become sports elite athletes. So it's kind of hard.
Yeah. Well, I
Cause
was gonna say like you guys are very interested in the biomechanics world, and the biomechanics world can be expensive.
Yeah.
So how do you take what we're doing here with you guys at MEO with Valor Biomechanics and bring it out to the people that are, can't afford it or don't have the access?
Yeah, mostly people have this access. Actually, a poor population have this access for biomechanics, for example.
Yeah.
As John said, part of this don't have the influence to get money to keep. For example, I have many friends that don't keep in the sports because they don't have money more to keep this. In Brazil, we have many talents that I don't know what they are doing now because we don't have this for. I mean, they keep the sports to be an Olympic athletes, for example.
I think a technology like Valor, we it, it makes easier for us to help people and to spread like this culture of biomechanics. And I don't know, like 10 years ago it was much more expensive, right, to have a lab to analyze biomechanics, and now we can have it in a phone and much cheaper. So yeah, of course, this kind of technology will help us to help people to get them better, to fix some issues, biomechanic issues, articulation issues, and joint, yeah,
Yeah.
joint issues. I'm sorry,
No, that's cool.
no native speakers, right? Yeah, and I think with the use of the technology and a technology that's becoming cheaper, that's becoming more accessible, we can change the pattern of sports here.
I was just gonna say, like, for both of you, like, what is one of the most craziest injuries or scenarios where you had to like rehab and you wish you had this type of technology at the time, and you got any cool stories like that?
Go.
Okay, I work with professional sports and developmental. I don't know,
Yeah, I did know that.
developing.
Yeah,
Yeah, with teenagers,
yeah, like youth.
right? Yeah, like youth. And I don't know. I didn't get yet a very serious injury, but I see a lot like ACL injury and some gastrocnemius injury. And I have an athlete right now with this kind of injury, and we if we were able to identify first some disbalance, we could help and prevent this. And now, yeah, we could use to evaluate, to assess the ROM, right? The the balance between muscles, their strength. So it's very helpful in many ways.
My heart beats for ninjas. So I have been studying for all my career ninjas for ICR. My master was studying with ACL
So you would have
injuries.
seen some stuff.
Yeah. So I'm very excited to study about this. And I think biomechanics it's a way to help the athletes and not for to find oh that's your fault, for example, but it's the way to help the athletes or in general people to return to activities. So I think our mission is use technology to help more because the profession that don't have this technology, I mean, I don't know what is they are doing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I tore my ACL like 5 years ago, and 3 years ago I had to do a meniscectomy. Like my meniscus, my
Yeah.
medial meniscus were torn too. So I wish I had this before, right? And yesterday we were like evaluating, playing with the Valor, and I saw that I still have these volgus on my knee. So I don't want to get another surgery, right? So I think that's very important. More than rehab, like prevention, because we are walking in this direction to have less injury, to have more prevention, because like I was saying, it's much cheaper to prevent than to treat,
Absolutely.
right? And after the athlete or the person gets injured, they'll be like 6 months at home or treating the injury, and they will not be able to play, to do some stuff they like. So for me, the prevention is the word.
Well, luckily, it sounds like everyone's obsessed and wants to see technology. So this will be technology for good,
Yeah.
technology to prevent.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yesterday, his joint was cracking so much.
And with this kind of technology, we can show to the patient, to the athlete, their progression or where the problem is. Because, of course, we could evaluate something, we could assess some problems just by looking, right? As we did, as the Incas did, right? But now with technology, we can not only assess that in a easier way, but we can show the patient like you were doing a valgus of X degrees and now it's much less.
When we
Or here is the problem.
Yeah, and we showed you, for those that don't know, we have like two different avatars depending on we're using the sensors, the vision. You guys like the more real time avatar. It seemed like the more interactive one. That was the full sort of guy when you're doing your valgus varus,
Yeah.
the sensors. So for you, it's all about real time. Like you don't necessarily want to in a lab setting where it takes time to get the analysis. You want it live in the session. Like, hey, this is your valgus varus, because that'll affect change quicker.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's more interesting for us, but even more to the patient, to the athlete, that we can show them. Here's the problem. Uh, Try to activate your gluteus a little bit more. So that real time kind of stuff is cooler for us.
Yeah.
And I think it's more usable.
Absolutely.
And then like the education behind it, right? Like I always, come back to, what I'm doing with my PhD at the moment, and it's all very coach centric because in the world of sport, you can have these great technologies, these great ideas, but on a global level of change, if the head coach doesn't like what you're doing, they
Really?
probably will not listen to you, and they'll do their own thing, right? Yeah, so it's a real thing. So like if I'm in the NFL, the NBA, and I don't have a good relationship with the coach, and I'm like, hey, coach, like we probably should take it easy or should go hard or whatever, and they are like, nah, I'll just do my own thing. Like they can just run the players into the ground, which unfortunately it is what it is. But if you can educate these people and they know, oh, that's why this is happening,
Yeah.
they'll more likely do it. I feel like have you seen that
Yeah, for
in your
sure.
areas where like,
It's this absolutely same thing
Yeah.
here. Yeah. You Rafael will talk about this too, but you're in a team and you advise someone, yeah, you should take it easy, or this player shouldn't play today because of this, because of that. And if the coach disagrees with you, no, okay, I'm putting him. Yeah, I don't care.
I think some professions don't believe so much in the technology
Yeah,
because technology, in my opinion, I think in your opinion too, we need, for example, to get better more programs, injury prevention programs, personality.
Yeah.
So technology using is perfect to use for that.
I think it's not only the technology but the science.
Yeah, yeah.
People don't believe in science.
Behind the
Yeah,
scenes,
as
right?
much as they should. So with a technology, we can show, we can make it palpable. Like now you see science, you have to accept science because you're seeing science. So
It's not
we-
some magic.
yeah, for
It's in front of
sure.
you.
It's not just a number. So
You will broke.
yeah, it's not a paper. So you show in real time, like you see your knee, you see your athlete's knee. Yeah, this is it's gonna be bad. So please listen to me. So technology helps in this kind of stuff, like thermography and other kind of technologies that we can show and we can prove to people that we know what we're doing,
Yeah.
and we know where we are getting if you don't make some interventions, right?
Absolutely. There's one question we ask on all of our podcasts. You mentioned athletes here, a lot of natural talent. Yeah. What do you think makes the difference between just a good or average Brazilian athlete versus like a great, like top of the line athlete? Like, what is the difference?
I think for some sports, for example, we have more access. For example, a kid, usually a boy, usually start playing soccer, and in general, they are these abilities to play these sports. You know, I think that the difference between the when you start the sport and the top one is the mentality.
Yeah.
I think this is the only difference between that a top one or top 10 for a simple athletes.
Yeah,
You can
I'll be
mention many
lying
athletes.
if I said that there's no genetic contribution and predisposition, but I think the mentality can make an average athlete to become a great athlete. Like we see that a lot. Jordan, Kobe, players that when they were younger, someone told them, "You're not going to be a star. You're not getting there." But because of their mentality, they become a star. They became like the best of the best. So I think athletes, the greatest athletes, they're just so obsessed with winning, and their mentality makes the difference.
Just manifest it, make it happen.
Hopefully, you guys can be contributing with the Valor technology to finding the next Brazilian Ronaldo, the real Ronaldo.
Yeah.
The real Ronaldo.
The best one.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for coming on. It's been great to have you, and we'll definitely have you on again.
Yeah, and we are happy to have you here, and we hope you come to Brazil more.
No, the
Yeah,
conjugation will bring me back. Don't
Yeah,
worry
yeah,
about
you will.
that.
And the other things too, but we don't need to talk about it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.